Welcome back to the channel. I recently did a video on how 30 caliber beats 7mm. In this video, I want to do a counter argument video to that. Why 7mm beats 30 caliber. I want to make sure you guys don't think I'm too much of a 30 caliber homer. So we're going to look into why people pick 7mm over 30 caliber. So let's get into it. So I've come up with 4 reasons why 7mm beats 30 caliber. And number one, I don't know if this is the most important, but it's definitely up there, is less recoil than the 30 caliber counterpart. So for example, this 7mm08 is going to kick less than the parent case, the 308 Winchester. You know, it's going to be shooting on average smaller bullets, in a lot of cases the same size bullets, but either way, you're going to have a little bit less recoil. Now, for a lot of you, that's important. And now I know my channel, a lot of you guys have Magnums, so this really isn't as big of a deal. For me personally, recoil, it doesn't really matter to me. But in general, with most people, the less recoil you're going to have, the better accuracy you're going to be able to get, the less you're going to flinch. So I do give that a little bit of a win. Now, is there a huge difference in recoil? Not a ton, not a huge difference, but there is still an advantage with the 7mm. Point number 2, and probably the most important reason why 7mm beats 30 caliber, is they're shooting a lot of the same weight bullets. Now in front of me, this isn't a perfect comparison, but sadly it's the only 7mm bullet I have. On the left I have a 120 grain VMAX in 7mm. On the right I have a 130 grain TTSX in 30 caliber. But what I'm trying to say here is that a 130 grain 7mm bullet and a 130 grain 30 caliber, the 130 grain is going to have higher BC, and it's going to be able to have the potential to be a flatter shooting bullet. So let me show you. Now, to make this as scientific as possible, I want to use a 7mm bullet that is going to be as close as possible to the same weight as a 30 caliber bullet, which also is the same designed bullet. So the closest thing I can find to show the difference is the eld-x bullets. So we're looking here at a 7mm 175 grain eld-x. Now check out this G1BC, 0.689, crazy high. So let me show you the 30 caliber 178 eld-x. Here is the 30 caliber 178 grain eld-x. And it actually has a pretty darn good G1BC, 0.552. It's actually really good for a 180 grain class bullet, but it's nowhere near the sleekness and high BC that the 175 eld-x in the 7mm. So let's now look at the ballistics. I'm going to show you what cartridges we're going to use these in to try to make this as fair as possible. For this ballistic comparison, I want to use a 28 nozzler and a 30 nozzler. They are very similar in design and almost have the same powder capacity and velocities. Now the 28 nozzler on the left has a little bit more powder capacity. The case is just a tad bit longer, but these are the two cartridges we're going to compare. While we compare the 28 nozzler to the 30 nozzler, I want to really focus on 3 things. So the retention and velocity that the 7mm will have over the 30 caliber, the retention in the energy because it's a higher BC bullet in the same weight, and then the drop. Okay, with that in mind, out of the muzzle it is going 3,200 feet per second, and the energy is almost 4,000 foot-pounds. Okay, out to typical hunting distances, 400 yards, velocity is 2,647 feet per second. Energy is very good. It's great about these high BC bullets. 2,700 foot-pounds of energy. And then the drop, around 19.5 inches at 400. Now I want to take this out a bit farther to where you can really see the difference between 7mm and 30 caliber. Let's just take it out to 700. The velocity is almost 2,300 feet per second. The energy is still over 2,000 foot-pounds of energy. And then there's 83.8 inches of drop. Now let's see how the 30 nozzler does. So with the 30 nozzler, again, it's going 3,200 feet per second with a 178 grain bullet. And the energy is just a little bit more because it's technically a little bit heavier bullet. So it's just over 4,000 foot-pounds of energy. But as you'll see, the 28 nozzler does beat it in velocity and energy as we go out. Let's just take it out to 400 yards, and it's already going slower than the 28 nozzler. It's going 2,500 feet per second. And then even at 400 yards, there's now a 200 foot-pound difference between the 28 nozzler and the 30 nozzler, giving the 28 nozzler the bump. Interesting enough, the drop is not as big as I thought it would be, or what people make it out to be. So 20.5 inches, almost really no difference. Now let's take this out to 700 yards. So again, it's going quite a bit slower, not quite a bit, around 200 feet per second slower, and then about a little over 300 foot-pound difference of energy at 700 yards. And the drop is 90 inches, so 7-inch difference. Not a huge difference, especially out at 700 yards. But there you have it. This is why 7mm beats 30 caliber. Is the same weight bullets. They're going to retain their velocity and energy better than the 30 caliber bullets. The next advantage the 7mm cartridges have over 30 caliber is price of ammo. Now this is more specific towards magnums, because the 308 and 30-06 are going to be cheaper than its counterparts, the 7mm 08 and the 280 Remington. But if you are looking to get a magnum, the 7mm Remington Magnum average cost for ammo currently, now this is an estimate that I saw online, it was around $61.40. Now, the most popular 30 caliber Magnum is the 300 Win Mag, and the average cost right now is $67.60. Is it a huge deal? No, but it will save you money. Okay, so in the beginning of this video, I did say there were 4 reasons why the 7mm beats 30 caliber, and I started making this video a little over a week ago, and I have a really crappy memory, so I actually can't remember the 4th reason. If you guys know of other things why 7mm beats 30 caliber, let me know. But I feel pretty good about the 3 things I mentioned. So the 3 things being recoil, trajectory, and retention of energy with the same weight. So basically it's a higher BC bullet with the same weight. And then lastly is ammo pricing for magnums is cheaper in 7mm. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. You really can't go wrong with either caliber. We'll see you next time.